Do it's what you're born to do.
Yes. What's going on right now in the Lakers and
Uh,
the Warriors? Dr. Dre's team, Draymond Green's team. What's going on?
the Lakers had 42 points in the first half and 35 points in the third quarter to
Nice.
cut a double-digit lead to 2 points at the end of the third.
Good comeback. I probably should have bet in game when they were down 9, 10 points. But
But you didn't, did you?
no, because I was running around like an asshole. It's so it's 79-77 end of 3. So we'll track that one. And San Antonio's out. Memphis is still alive.
That's right.
So, playing so far, you like it?
I do. Viewership was up 60% last night, and these were the marquee. Well, at least this was the marquee game. Celtics are a big draw, always. Yeah, I like it. Sorry.
Weird. I thought the NBA was dying.
I was retweeting your.
What we hear all the time.
That's kind of a straw man argument. Who says the NBA is dying?
Generally the guys who do their bits to appeal to whites, kind of to the white male. It's Doc Travis, guys like that. Are always saying it's dying. A lot of hockey people are always saying the NBA is dying. I would say, the NFL is a juggernaut, unstoppable. The NBA, I think, is doing fine and is actually growing audience. And I think the NBA is one of those leagues that's a little different to measure because I also think of all the leagues, it's probably the one that hits the most streaming. So people use to watch it. It's not your traditional TV sport anymore.
Yeah, right. So if the NBA is dying, then I guess that's a NASCAR mentality. If you're not first, you're first loser, or your last second's just first loser. They're the second most popular league.
Right.
And probably more popular than the NFL globally.
Yeah, probably the second most popular sport internationally.
Soccer. Like they're number 2 in America, but they're number 2 globally ahead of football. So, no, I think the NBA is doing just fine.
That said, I love what they do.
Comment.
I love what they did. Well, I mean, but here's the thing: it's a bit, and you're playing to your core audience, and you build hate on guys like LeBron James, and you sit there and squawk all season about in a COVID year, in a compressed year, about guys sitting out.
I don't squawk, Steve.
Well, I know you don't, but
I'm not a squawker. Are you a squawker?
Sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. Squawk. Let's see. I'm a hockey person. I never say any sport is dying.
Dodgeball is dying. It is dying. He's right. Can't stick because everybody gets pricks like Kirk picking on the little kid and pounding him. Can't have dodgeball.
Dodgeball's dying.
Just bully the little kid. Yep, that was Kirk.
So where are we starting tonight? We starting with old man LaRussa?
I can go anywhere. I like your list of topics. I offered none as a rebuttal. So
I
think you nailed it on the topic list.
Thank you.
If you don't know, Steve does all the heavy lifting
Not really.
for the show.
We usually exchange topics. Today, sometimes time is limited.
I don't like, for us, like some of the things like Kansas gobbling up, what we're going to get to, right? Like, so topics that are big for us. We talked about LaRussa. Yeah. I have probably a different opinion than most, or at least a different potential opinion.
I figured.
Than most. I will ask you to think.
Yes.
So on that one, is that where you want to begin?
Yeah, I think it's a great topic. It's an avalanche of your old unwritten rules suck. Mm-hmm. People are killing him in the game. A lot of the guys in the game, including Lance Lynn, his own player. Lance Lynn said, yeah, you know what, as I play, the longer I play, I'm kind of done with the unwritten rules. There are no rules. And LaRussa's like, well, he has a locker. I have an office. I disagree. Which he has the right to do that.
I do think it's 0 or 100 with Tony La Russa right now. I think it's either going to work brilliantly because he has made himself the enemy and is galvanizing a young team around the we'll show this son of a bitch, by going out and playing or doing our own thing, and he's going to raise their level, or he's going to implode the team. Right, that there's going to be, they're going to spend all their time focusing on what he's saying or what he's doing, and that's going to bring him down. I do think that there is just one or the other. But I would offer up the first possibility that I laid out there as one that could happen. I would also offer up. Look, when Tony La Russa was on his game with the Cardinals, he was an ass to a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? But he was the great Tony La Russa, soon to be the second most winningest manager of all time, and he's never owned the ball club he's managed for, so he'll never get to the old Phillies, the old A's guy. Anyway, who owned the team for like 50 years and managed. At one time was great, but then continued to manage forever because he owned the team. Look, he no one would question him. And who's to say that I don't know. I should reach out to some people in St. Louis, but who's to say that he wasn't, loathed by his Cardinal teams, right? That this isn't his formula. It's just different now because when he's the all powerful, all great, almighty Tony La Russa, nobody dare question him. Right. He barks at you. It's like, geez, Tony, sorry, man. Now it's like, this is this crazy fossilized remains of a once great manager that's should be put out to pasture and is embarrassing himself with a bad dye job and a lack of knowledge for the rules. And when you flub up and don't know the pinch runner rule and extra innings, you're going to get skewered, and you should. And we've talked about it. Is the issue, like if he's not going to be that sharp on every little detail, which I would offer that as you get older, there is, you learn to be more efficient and you learn what the main thing is. But I think you drift away, you get away from turning over every stone, right? When you're young and you don't know what to do, you don't know what you're doing. And so you turn over every stone and you find some new things by doing that. Like I related this to myself, like in this business, like listen, you want 4 hours. Like if you can't do it every day, but I can give you 4 hours. I can get out of bed and I can give you 4 hours. Because I've done it long enough that I know I can mainstream the topics, right? And at the end of the day, people will be like, yeah, he was talking about what I wanted to talk about. If you do it every day for a month, you'll be like, God, he didn't hit this, he didn't hit this, he didn't hit this, he didn't hit this, right? Chiefs, Royals when they play, Kansas basketball, right? There's a formula to it. But you have a tendency to lean towards, hey, let's play the hits, right? But if you just play the hits, you never find the new hits. And so La Russa can play the hits as the manager, but you need somebody sitting next to him that's looking for the new hits, that knows all the rules, knows all the, the new tricks. And the question is, when it came to that, did he not listen to that guy, or does he not have somebody on the bench that can teach him those things? Either way, right, it's a problem. But I will say this, maybe the main thing is the main thing. And maybe he lost a game because of a base runner. They're in first place. Lest we all forget, maybe like the minutia of running around and pissing and moaning about the runner rule, or that a couple of players in his clubhouse got the red ass on him. So what? They're in first place. If he's raising a World Series trophy at the end of the year, who's going to complain? No one. He'll be.
Is that because of him or in spite of him?
Fair point. And I think
they are so goddamn good, compared to a lot of teams around the American League, that they're just steamrolling in spite of him.
They're so good now, but they didn't win last year.
Come on. We knew the next step if their pitching developed. And I guess if you want to give him credit for developing some of the young guys, they are coming through now, and Rodon's had this amazing resurgence. So this has happened under La Russa.
By the way, I'm going to switch. I forgot to switch over to my, what do you call it? So let me know if there's an issue.
I think you're all good.
Steve?
Yes. Oh, no. Serena's there.
Classic.
I'm here. I don't know if he can hear me. I can hear him. Now he's in trouble. Who's hearing who in the chat room? Yeah, this could have helped a lot too. Eloy Jimenez going down all the way through at least August. They're also a loaded franchise. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah, ditch the old one. I'm sorry. I wasn't on the Ethernet, and I always try to be on the Ethernet. Usually I can make the switch and it doesn't screw up, but I screwed up. Right. No, listen, the point is valid. I think there's two potential questions. yes, we knew the White Sox were a team on the come, but they hadn't been there yet. So he at least hasn't screwed it up.
Right.
He hasn't screwed up what was the progression. And I think that deserves some credit. The other thing that I'm all ears for is that the manager absolutely means almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of the strategy is gone. I think it's pre-programmed. It's decided afternoon of by a group within the organization. It's gone. You're managing personalities. And so if they, overthrow him, if they refuse to play,
right,
then he sucks. But if they piss and moan and win games, then it's Billy Martin at his best, right? Like that's what he used to do. And he was considered a great manager.
And that might happen. I could also see there being a player revolt saying this is bullshit. I could see there being a fan revolt, which I'd love to. We talked about soccer, a few weeks ago and how the fans bonded together and created change. I think that would be neat. But they can win without Tony La Russa, no doubt. And I don't know, man. The unwritten rule thing, like it goes to a point. You know what? You want to love a little apology over to the Twins and Rocco Baldelli. Okay, but now you're like shitting on the guy, Yermin Mercedes. It gets to a point where you're like, dude, all right. Then they're throwing it. First of all, La Russa basically, stands at the altar and asks for forgiveness from Rocco Baldelli, who, by the way, who is that? Somehow with the old mentality at 39 years old, which I find fascinating. La Russa does everything you're supposed to do, and then the Twins come out the next day and friggin' throw at Mercedes anyway. So if I'm on the team, I'm like, hey, Tony, do you have my back or not? Because if not, I'm going to have to go kick someone's ass, or I'm going to kick yours. By the way, if I were Yermin Mercedes, and I was saying this on the air today, I'd go to La Russa and have a little talking. And, you get rid of me if you want, because I think I'll be all right making it somewhere else. But, I'm 5'11", 270 pounds. Keep fucking with me and my family. Seriously. Hey, I remember one of my favorite media, manager coach exchanges ever. And I have no idea what the guy is like. I'm guessing he's mild mannered, but it was one of my favorite when Tony La Russa was just being a C-bomb. Something was going on at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and Bernie Miklasz, who's been there forever. And I didn't realize Bernie's a big guy. Like he's 6'5", like 350 pounds. I don't know if he can scrap or not, but Tony La Russa was being a dick to him and was going on and on and on. And Miklasz is like, it's the paper. It's not me. All right. I don't control what happens to the paper. And then finally Miklasz, he stood up and he's like, do we have a problem? Like, let's go, man. Like, I'm fucking gigantic. I'm tired of hearing this shit. So I just, now here's the thing. I think this happens a lot where we know in the history of baseball, shit, Lou Piniella was brawling with Rob Dibble. There are psychos all over the game. And I think to your point, sometimes this is healthy during a season to have a disagreement. And
Lou Piniella, by the way, was a successful manager, and that was a team that won a championship.
And Lou Piniella did the same thing as a player, and Lou Piniella was one of those guys around with Billy Martin who I'm sure wanted to punch him in the face, and those Bronx Zoo were fighting in the shower. So believe me, of all folks, I understand angst at the workplace. I understand it, but it seemed like it got to a point where Tony La Russa, it became more about Tony La Russa than it did about the gaffe and the mistake, which I think Tony La Russa is a lot like other guys he pals around with or did. They're so old, I don't know if they hang out anymore. But like Parcells and like Bobby Knight, they're great coaches, but they like talking about being La Russa and Knight and Parcells.
Yes, I think that does happen. I think that's a fair assessment, and I think they do begin to believe that if they say it's true, like they start to buy their own bullshit. And so I would agree. And listen, I'm not here to tell you La Russa's a genius and everybody better back off because you're dumbasses and how dare you question Tony La Russa. That's not my point here. But I do feel like what I guess frustrates me, like real baseball people asking the question, but when I hear people that I know don't know shit about the game and they're ready to be the authority on how La Russa's a dumbass and he doesn't get it and get rid of like that, then I start to go, all right, my shit detector goes off and I go, all right, well, wait a minute. Now it's just, hey, we got a guy down, let's kick him. And everybody, it makes me feel better and smarter because I think I've got something on the third most winningest manager in the history of baseball. I get to call him a moron. And so that's what, and like we've talked about this before, I consider myself a natural contrarian. And so I'm always going to look for that spot to go against the grain. And I think the grain, and I guard against it. I try not to just be a contrarian to be a contrarian. And I definitely am not just a shit starter. But I think there's an element here where I think the reaction has gone too far. I think he's out of touch, but they hired the guy knowing he was going to be out of touch.
I didn't see. Who was Buster? Buster Olney? Did he say something? Did he defend
Buster
him?
said Tony La Russa is wrong.
Okay.
But Buster did say his comments, because I played him today, because Buster's a regular on our morning show on 810. He said, I used to be an old school guy, but when a guy hits a home run off a 48 mile per hour pitch, the response is to drill him with a 90 mile an hour fastball. Yes, it is, and it always has been. And why are you late to the party? I love Buster Olney. He's great. But I would say these rules, I have laughed at the rules for a long time. And the people that are now coming around to it because mainstream, my problem, and this is now I'm going to separate Buster, because Buster's absolutely one of the best. But my frustration is the rules have been bullshit forever and nobody said it. Anyone who's listened to my show knows I've talked about the hitting a guy because he steals a base up 4. No. But we steal until we're up 5, because one swing of the bat and it's a tie game. The rules have been bullshit forever. Running up the score to me has always been laughable. If you don't like it, stop it.
Right.
And now, because bat flips have become cool and the general public likes it, and there's pressure on the writers to write things that get clicks. Bah humbug writing doesn't get you clicks. Getting you clicks is, here's my top 10 bat flips of all time. Now you become you've either sold your soul, or you're just completely oblivious to what you've said all along. Like, you're either for something or you're not. And that so for Buster to be like, hey, I've always been old school, but now it's ridiculous to hit a guy.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I have to examine situation by situation. But I've definitely said over the years, would I hit someone? Would there be some retribution? Would there be, I don't even know about retribution, commanding the plate, doing what I needed to do to protect other guys on the team? Yeah, I'll do that. I would do that. Yeah, but I'm not against all. I'm not against all of it. And I think a lot of this, I think you nailed it at the very beginning. Tony La Russa was awesome. He was part of powerhouse teams. I pointed out he was part of teams that revolutionized baseball. I think they were hopped up heavily in 2 different stops in Oakland and St. Louis. So I think when he talks about rules, I think we got to be careful about the integrity of the game, Tone, because you stood there as your guys, gained 30 and 40
Two different
pounds.
things, though. 2 different things. Rules and integrity of the game are 2 different things. Because steroids broke no rules. There was no rule against performance-enhancing drugs. It's one of the reasons why I'm all for steroid guys being in the Hall of Fame. There was absolutely no rule whatsoever against PEDs. Now, if you want to say the integrity of the game, okay, I'll listen to it. Probably at the end, I'll say bullshit. Because when players and owners did nothing, they collectively bargained agreement, and never did they ever put that in there. And no media ever said anything whatsoever, and no fans bitched at all to retroactively after the fact bitch about steroid players, and in this case Tony La Russa managing steroid players and taking advantage of having steroid players is absolute bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Fans didn't care.
I think you
Writers
knew.
didn't care. Players didn't care. Owners didn't care.
I think they started to care in the early 2000s. I think we all sat there and enjoyed '98 as baseball came back. But I know you were saying it, and I was saying it behind the scenes. We're like, okay, this is kind of crazy. These guys are getting goddamn gigantic. But I do think as a manager, you do know what's going on.
But let me say this: there's no rule against it. And if we're going to criticize Tony La Russa, let me tell you my thoughts on the Kansas City Royals during that time. Find a fucking guy on steroids,
or get a steroid program,
because
have an outright steroid connect.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you, if you think somehow your manager saying, I'm not going to take any guys that are on steroids, would make you feel better and you had a better fan experience, you are the dumbest dumbass that has ever lived. Because I watched bad baseball with no roid guys, and it sucked. It sucked. So, look, you know what I see? I see a guy who wants to win. I see a guy who only manages teams with talent, smart.
Right.
He's not taking over some turd team that doesn't want to put any money into it with a terrible owner. right? And I guarantee you, if Reinsdorf's like, yeah, it's not good enough, we're going to chop it all up and sell it off, he'll quit. Right? He saw a very talented team, like he's seen at every other job he could take, and he's earned that position in life. I do think Reinsdorf's the only guy that hired him at 74, but I don't think he'd have taken the job if he were, signing on for some 100-loss team. I mean, I get it all. I understand the frustration, but like managing guys on steroids, that was the industry. And if you didn't want to manage guys on steroids, then you weren't going to win.
For Martini Maker, when do you think steroids got down to high school? Parents took notice and offense, because I would counter that. I don't think parents took offense. Not in football. Not in football around the country. I don't know, friend, when you were in high school, you're a little younger than me. Do you think kids were taking steroids?
Yeah, I knew some of the guys that were.
Yep.
I mean, they were probably junior steroids. I don't know of anybody that were, injecting, but the pill forms. Yeah, I knew guys.
Because my high school went from being just so football for like the next 20 years was really good, like a top 5 public school in the state. New Jersey's a pretty good high school football state. And guys were bigger and bigger and bigger. One of my classmates, his dad played in the NFL, and man, that kid got like big and he got erratic. Like he was up and down, like,
yeah.
But, and I'd heard from people, outside of the school, like, hey, that school. So that's 1988. And then my brother was a little younger, and there were some dudes who actually made the NFL, the Peter brothers. One of them became famous because
Jason and Christian Peter, the Nebraska brothers.
Jason wound up having a massive pill issue. Christian had some sexual assault issues, and he got drafted by the Patriots. And he was a guy who was like 200 pounds in high school, as a sophomore, and all of a sudden is getting drafted in the NFL and excelling like a lunatic at Nebraska. So I just want to point out, allegedly, that this is not something that started in 2098.
No.
And people were dabbling. Professional athletes were dabbling in steroids back to the mid '80s. Obviously, right before La Russa and the Bash brothers.
I just, they wrote books about the man, and to sit here now and act like, oh well, he just got around the steroid guys. Okay, smart guy,
right?
Like I'm sorry, like you want wins. You want don't act like what I'd be thrilled for my college football team if just everybody got good grades and graduated. I really don't care what the record is. Shut your face.
I think you nailed it at the beginning, and then again with your explosion, that there are a lot of people who've grown to dislike La Russa because he's a winner and because he was arrogant, and now they're like, hey, he's old, he's making some mistakes here, let's get him.
Yeah, they get their shot, they get their chance to kick him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, right, good for you. You defended Tony La Russa.
But where are you on it?
I can see it from both sides. He's always been an arrogant ass, and he's lost a little bit here. To me, I think there comes a point where you're going to play with by the unwritten rules, and then it just gets stupid. Then I don't want to work for you. Then I don't want to be on your team. If you don't have my back, and because I like what Tim Anderson was doing. Tim Anderson's in the dugout, and after Duffy throws at Mercedes, after La Russa apologizes profusely, says his player's clueless, the Twins still throw at Mercedes, and then Baldelli's coming out yelling about something, and Tim Anderson's like, what the fuck? Get off the field. Like, I'm with that. Like, you can tell me, hey, you know what? You screwed up. There's some respect here. And I'll go, you know what? I had to think about it a little bit. I got real hot at the beginning. I get it. But then if it keeps going on and on and on, at some point you're like, no, this is bullshit. Now it's gone too far.
So let me ask you a question. If Rutgers is down 40-6, 2 minutes to go, starting quarterback's still in, and he launches 160 for another touchdown to make it 46-6. You're okay with that?
Do I get irked when Ohio State was doing that? Of course. Would I be pleased if they went over? I mean, I think it to myself. I'm like, go get the quarterback. You want to put him in there, it's time to break him in half.
Right.
You want to take the risk? Like, I wouldn't be upset.
Are you okay with it? Or do you think they did something wrong?
As a fan,
no, nobody likes to have their team scored on, Steve.
Of course you get pissed off. Now, I will tell you, they've also
because I don't.
Because
I don't get pissed off.
Well, I'm still a fan. I still get emotional. So what
I get emotional because my team is losing. I don't get emotional because they're piling on. I get more pissed at my team for not doing something about it. I don't go, this is classless and all this bullshit that all these fans that like there's an unwritten rule like baseball gets a bigger ass whipping about the unwritten rules when nobody is a bigger whiny bitch than football coaches across the board. Yeah, I mean, if that's how you want to play. Oh, there's come on, spare me. Now, I will tell you, I did experience something. Little League girls softball.
Mhm.
My kids' team's down big.
Uh-oh.
All game, everything's moving along. Kid decides to square to butt. This is the first year of fast pitch, so the pitchers are not good, right? They no control, no strike throwing, walking everybody around the bases. Kid throws down the bunt, like squares the bunt over the plate as the pitcher's delivering. Pitcher stops. It's a balk. And everybody over there is real happy. Now, I was not thrilled. You got a pitcher that's been walking somebody around the bases.
Right.
The kid wants to do it. Okay, that's the game. Everybody on the bench and the parents think this is great. This is funny. If my kid were a pitcher, and she's not, I'd have had a symbol, something like this, flip them. Where's the camera? Flip them. And there'd have been one coming inside.
All right.
Because that is the game. Oh, you want to be a smart ass over there? You think it's funny? One got away. You've seen we can't throw strikes, and you're gonna start squaring around a bunt up 11.
Right.
Let me see how you can move.
So for you, is there an age? Is there an age cutoff where you got to be a little bit classy?
Well, I'm clearly open to it in the 5th grade.
As you're teaching kids sportsmanship?
I'm clearly up. I don't have to teach it because my kid's not a pitcher, so it's not up to me. But the girls on the team that pitch, I would do it if my kid pitched.
Nice.
Buzz one inside, bring it low.
Yeah.
But let's move the feet. Okay, you want to square around? We're going to move the feet because I do think ownership of the plate is a territorial part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching inside and pitching way inside is part of the game. So,
We done with La Russa?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I've said all I have to say. You see both sides. I love your strong take.
Do I think he's an asshole? Yeah. Do I think he's out of touch? Yeah. Do I think he went way too far?
Do you think he'll win?
I'm not sure. I don't know how they're going to react to it. I wouldn't play for him. And I like
you'd quit and walk away from a major league contract.
No, I'd be a dick and I would start the insurrection.
Yeah, it's worked well at other times in our careers, I know.
It's worked well for me. I've had plenty of people fuck with me. I don't forget.
Oh, I don't forget.
You don't know when I'm coming.
I can tell you I've never gotten the La Russa overthrown.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had people overthrown. I know I'm still here, and lots of people aren't.
There are people.
Not saying that I pushed them out, but in the end, I will shine. You will not outwork me. I will win.
There is more than
I may lose down the road. There may be someone who doesn't get me, but eventually, if you think you're going to get me, you're probably not.
There is more than once, not many more times than twice, and not recently, that I have uttered the phrase to somebody in the local sports area. I was here when you got here, and I'll be here when you're gone.
Yeah.
And at this point, I haven't been proven wrong. Now I'm getting old, so I don't say it much now.
Who knows? I can't. It's hard for me to have a strong take because I'm not in there. Seriously, sometimes you can't really speak on how a manager operates and why people like the person and why they're motivated. I try to liken things to my workplace, and like I have bosses now that I get along with better than any of the bosses I've ever had, and I hear people complain about them, and I'm like, well, I guess they're not for you. Like some people, it's just sometimes it's not a good blend. So I don't know what it's like in the clubhouse right now with La Russa. Maybe this is a blip. Maybe everyone loves him. There were certainly enough guys speaking out where they're like, unwritten rules are bullshit.
Did you hear yesterday's, press conference?
Which one?
The one that they're playing all the cuts from La Russa in the background. The clubhouse is like exploding with, everyone's cutting up and going nuts.
And that's what he said. He said no one's giving him the Heisman.
I mean, they seem to be having a good time at that point.
Yeah. But I do think if everything was copacetic, I don't think Lance Lynn would come out and say the unwritten rules are stupid, or Mercedes is like, I'm doing what I have to do. That's the way I play.
Not to do you want me to give you an update on the basketball?
Of course.
Because you don't have a TV where you are?
Nah, I don't have one on. I'm taping it right now.
LeBron James went in for a dunk. Draymond Green, 2 hands to the face. LeBron's left ankle. He's landing where it wouldn't have been a problem if it hadn't been hurt. But the ankle takes a lot. The full weight comes down on the left ankle.
Oh boy.
With him starting to fall backwards and really torques the ankle, and he's grimacing in pain before he ever hits the ground. 2 hands over the face, down on the ground for a while. Yeah. And now on a chair with a towel over his face, and they've gone to they're looking to the whoever the guy is, the official, to talk about whether or not it's a flagrant. Got poked in the eye. Maybe it's as much as eye, but we'll see how he's maneuvering. But his left ankle took the brunt of his landing.
Brady said Warriors plus 1.5. Take it now. It's all we care.
97 Warriors.
Do you
fourth?
Do you like Draymond Green? We go back and forth on Draymond Green all the time on our show.
I like his game. He's not as good as he thinks he is. He's a war. I mean, I like when the Warriors were talking about trading for Anthony Davis, and somebody's like, "Well, you can't give up Draymond Green and Klay Thompson." I'm like, well, you've lost your mind, because Draymond Green is a tremendous mortar player. Oh, I like him a lot, but you're not winning championships because of him. See the fact that you have Steph Curry and him, and you're in the play-in game.
Right. These are the moments that you want him for, though.
LeBron appears to be walking fine, so
right.
I guess it was the shot to the eye. He's taking some Visine drops, but there's no love lost between those two, so could be an interesting 207 to go.
You think? DR Brown LV said, I want him on my team, but I'm not a fan of the guy.
Agreed. I think that's the best way to put it.
Doug said LeBron is fine. Another Oscar moment for him.
He's got a bum left ankle. He's 36 years old, going for his 5th championship, and just took a shot, 2 hands to the face. Okay.
Yeah. This is kind of also the moment you need. Well, maybe it's not in this game. There's too much going on, but next year you also need whoever your Montrezl Harrell is on the team to go
and enforcer to kick ass
and clothesline Draymond Green. But that's one of the things about Draymond Green that is good. It doesn't seem like a lot of people go at him. So
where is Kurt Rambis when you need him?
It's part of the game, right? Just like we were talking about in baseball, it's part of the game and it's part of the game in hockey. I know. We talk locally down the stretch here.
Oh, absolutely.
Golden Knights that hockey teams are like, oh, Ryan, opposing hockey teams are like, Ryan Reeves is not around. All right. Now we're going to start pushing you around. And as soon as Reeves comes back, everyone's like, okay, let's calm down.
Yeah.
I
think, listen, you need a guy who can play a little, but can be sacrificed if necessary.
JVT is a very big Dr. Dre backer. See, he's having an incredible defensive game.
Because there's great analytics that back him up.
Huh? Oh yeah. Oh, he'll light you up. He loves Draymond Green. And he can. I can't deal with the fact that Draymond Green says, we're not the we believe Warriors. We've got Steph Curry and we've won 3 championships, and you're like, I mean, you did. I think that'd be like Robert Horry walking around and fucking taking credit for all his championships. I mean, Robert Horry was an important part of the team. I saw that Rudy Tomjanovich, I think it was making a push for him for the Hall of Fame, but I don't hear Robert Horry, going out there and saying we did it all the time. Like let's realize what the situation was, fella.
I think when you piss and moan about Kevin Durant, and I'm not going to say ran him off, but certainly didn't help keep him, and you haven't pissed a drop since, maybe you should be a little quieter.
That's his personality. He's a know-it-all, and it's probably why
his game.
Probably why he's made the league at 6'5" and 240, and he's somewhat skilled. He's, his defense is his thing, and then averaging a triple single.
Steve, they list him at 6'8".
Has him in a good spot. He's 6'5", whatever, 6'6".
What are they? I would buy 6'6". I think he is. I love all the undersized guys that, and I love the
I love him. I love him on my team, and I love him in college basketball. I'd recruit guys like that all the time.
Oh,
rather than the stretch 6'10" guy, I'd rather have a 6'7" fatty who wants to mix it up.
But that's the thing, is his game he is a stretch guy as well, because he'll knock down threes.
Yeah.
And he passes the ball well. I like anybody who passes the ball.
Yeah.
And at some point, everybody's going to pass the ball well. That's the future. Well, you're going to shoot, and you're going to go to the rim, and the dunks and threes are definitely part of it. Oh.
Don't violate rights, please. This podcast is hanging on by a thread. It's the last thing we need.
I was going to say, there was no drama in LeBron launching a long one that went down off balance.
So we're at what, 103, 100?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So while you're watching the game, can you fill me in on how Kansas? This is interesting. How Kansas in mid-May, like, it's been a good all season. We've rebuilt. We need another guard. I like that guy, Remy Martin. Let's go grab him from Arizona State in May. How'd that work out? You got some insight on that one? It's a good get.
They were in for him, the Georgia kid who just committed. I can't remember where he committed to, but the Georgia point guard. They were out looking for guards, and they landed two. They also got the 38-year-old Iowa State kid.
Oh, that's right. Okay. And he literally is going to be 27. I think he's 27 next year.
No, he's going to turn 25 in July.
He's 25? I thought he was 26 already.
No, it is a seventh year of college basketball.
He's been around. He's been around.
So like they've been on the prowl for guards, no doubt.
Yeah.
And get to your Dick Vitale thing. Lay that out there first.
So Dickie V tweeted out a couple of things a few months ago, and I saw a lot of the college basketball people are, analysts are like, oh, yeah, of course, man. Well, like, why don't you guys say this? So Dickie V said, spoke with several coaches that are saying widespread tampering is going on and recruiting players from the transfer portal. They claim players are informed that School X will offer if you get in the portal. This is pathetic and violates why the rule was put into play.
How is it pathetic, and how does it violate the rule?
I guess the notion is, is there any time when players on other rosters are off limits?
Let me put it this way. When the rule was instituted, what dipshit didn't think this is where it would go?
Well, it was already happening, so it was natural that it was going to explode into the norm. Yeah.
So, you're just burying your head in the sand for what was already going on. If that to me is like, hey, what we all know, what we all think is going to happen. Like, yes, absolutely. Like, do I think Kansas actively went out and reached out? I think, look, basketball, the AAU world, the basketball world is a group of people. Lakers win 103-100. It's over. The basketball world is everybody knows, right? Same thing with the baseball world. The highest level of baseball, the highest level of basketball, the highest level of football. There are people that if you want something, you get the word out there and you're good to go, right? Like, word is going to get out there. So Kansas puts out there, we're looking for guards. If you're a guard and you're thinking, I'm not liking the situation. By the way, he's not the only guy leaving ASU, because ASU's got another guard in the transfer portal, right? And last year was a disaster for them.
Well, they already had a kid previously leave, and he landed with Richard Pitino in New Mexico.
They've got another one sitting out there that's looking to go.
And they had two kids, at least two or three, test the draft. So
Kentucky landed three guys out of the chute, right? What's the difference? Because it's May. It's like, you saw your needs and you.
I guess here's the question. Do we want a college basketball world where we just have kind of rotating rosters and we can openly talk about recruiting off of other rosters? Like, I would, if I covered a school like Kansas, I would talk all year long, or especially towards the end of the season, like who are their targets, who can they get off of other teams.
Well, I'll
Like,
say this: I don't think the
there.
news. One thing I'll say: there's going to be some news from Kansas tomorrow. It's more just for basketball folks. I don't think it's going to be major, but there'll be a little news from.
Well,
Kansas.
they're in the clear. Obviously, they gave a big FU to the NCAA. They're like, Self's our guy. He's staying around. They rebuilt the roster the way they wanted to. Nothing's going to happen.
I think there's going to be. I think the move today with the Iowa State kid coming, there's going to be somebody decommitting.
Oh, okay. I think you meant like.
I'm not talking about NCAA. I'm just. I can't put it out there. I believe that the information to be legit, but I do actually adhere to journalistic rules, and I don't have a second person. So, but I will just say, I think you'll get some news tomorrow, or maybe the day after.
By the way, this is a good question. I guess this is about UNLV's Kruger. Yeah, they had 10 guys go, and they've had 9 guys come. So the entire team left, and they've had 9 new guys come in, all a bunch of Big 12 backups. They actually just had a Vegas kid yesterday. I thought he was going to stay. He was like one of 3 guys that was staying, a kid named Nick Blake, who was like a top 150 kid. So they're going to mutually part ways. So he's gone too. My guess is that someone reached out to him and they got a better deal for him. So that's where we are now. I don't even know if you can get mad. You got, as Petro said earlier, if you watch, if you watched baseball all those years and you're like, oh, they're doing steroids, your first thought should have been, fuck, man, we need to do steroids. Believe me, I say it all the time. Petro made reference to it earlier. I'm a Rutgers fan. That's where I went to school. The basketball program's getting more competitive, and I lament with my, your old buddy Ryan Williams all the time. I'm like, they got to start playing the game. Let's go. Come on. Either you want to do it or you don't. If you want to be a top 50 program, then you got to do what the other programs do. And I don't know if that means playing dirty, but you definitely got to dominate the transfer portal, and you better start looking for targets to go grab, because you're going to lose some guys.
If you listen, if you don't like what's happening, don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Like, you got to game the game. Like, what is the game that's being played, and you got to get in it, right? And recruiting the transfers is absolutely more than ever this year, in the next few years, as long as guys have that extra year to burn because of the COVID year, you got to be in on the transfers. Did Conzo Martin not play the game? No, he's going to have like 3 guys back, and he's got all kinds of transfers coming in. They're just not at high level.
Right. Okay. So he did it.
K-State, Mizzou and K-State had they had made a trade. Like, one guy left Mizzou and went to K-State. One guy left K-State and went to Mizzou. I'll give you one other thing.
For a school like Missouri, when we just got the news with the SEC, I have this number right. Did the SEC just basically give COVID relief to all their schools?
To every school.
I mean, that means every school in the conference has got to be acting like Kentucky. You certainly have the money. You can have the facilities. You all got to operate on that level.
But the average losses last year, I think, is 40-something million, with one school reporting a $70 million loss because of COVID. Only Georgia. Georgia had $70 to $100 million in reserve that they had been holding as a worst-case scenario fund. They were the only one, which is a lesson to everybody in this country that, yeah, pandemics happen, wars happen, shit happens. Just thinking like, it'll never happen again. I'll finance the shit out of everything I have is not necessarily always the smartest idea. But I'll say this one more thing on Kansas. I'm hearing Obaji is going to be gone. So Ochai Obaji and Wilson will be back, but Obaji's either going to stay. He's going to stay in the draft. And if he doesn't get picked, fine, he'll go play in Europe. And so I think that's part of the equation as well. They're at 14 scholarship players, I think. That would level the scholarships, but I'm thinking that there is going to be some news that somebody's going to decommit tomorrow.
It's crazy times.
Yes.
No, and it's not done yet. The whole transfer portal thing is certainly not done yet. It's interesting. It's changed it. So, and I don't blame guys like Roy Williams, who's like, all right, I can't do this anymore. This is just ridiculous.
Well, I think Roy was done. When Roy kissed the court in the final game, I think he'd either told his players or his players knew, because I had on Travis Hancock from WFNZ in Charlotte, and he said he told me right after the season was over. He said the rumor here is that Roy is done.
Don't you think if Coach
So the players transferring came after they were already hearing that Roy was out?
Right. If all these freshmen don't bond together, if Coach K doesn't have a good year, he's done after this year, isn't he? He's gonna have a freaking coronary. He hates this.
I don't know. I mean, there are guys like Nick Saban that I think are the Vince Lombardi, the Bear Bryant, the Joe Paterno. They're going to coach till they die, or someone won't let them coach.
But Saban's advancing. Saban is morphing. He's adjusting. Like,
yeah, but Coach, I mean, listen. Let's not let one season say that Coach K hasn't adjusted. He adjusted to the one and done, won a championship with it, and then had the best team in the country, 2 years ago with the one and dones, and got beat narrowly from going to the Elite Eight. Right? He lost the Sweet 16 with Zion. Is that right?
Right. I just see him getting more and more testy as he gets older.
I agree. Well, yeah, but that's what old guys do. They get to be crotchety. And so I won't deny
not us. We're not getting. We're not like that. Fine. No one's yelling. I'm getting edgy. There's no problems.
Sorry.
I'm pleasant around. I'm pleasant around the house all the time. It's good. I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm not old. I'm not old like Coach K, and nor are you.
No, not yet. But listen, let's not declare him dead off one bad year when he had the number one team in the country the year before.
All right. Truth from Duluth says Saban is a control freak who wants slave labor like the others. All right, no, I guess you're not a Saban fan.
You know what? I have to admit, I don't know Duke's.
It's probably right, Brady. Yes.
I don't know Duke's transfer guys, but they got 3 of the top 25 in this class.
They did. They killed it. They killed it on a recruiting trail. So.
And they lost what would have been a 4th because his dad coaches at UW Milwaukee.
Right.
And then they lose another one. No, that was Michigan State lost the top kid.
Yeah. But
the G League.
That was a long shot. Oh no, the Amani Bates he's coming up. He's the next class, so he's already bailed. Oh, by the way, we should throw this out there. Did you see this prep league that's backed by a bunch of NBA players? They're gonna have a whole facility in Atlanta, and one of our friends, Joe Esposito, coached for like 30 years in college basketball. He's coaching high school and teaching in Arizona, so we have him on as our basketball insider, and he was like blown away by the fact that they're doing this thing in Atlanta. And I was like, this is the Petro. Petro's been talking about this for like 10 years. Like, this is what the rest of the world does. Like, the rest of us get to work when we're 15, 16 years old. Now, I'll say I didn't start in radio at 16, but if you have a certain skill and you have a chance to start working at 16, 17 and get paid and go to school, and that's it. That's what you're going to school for, is to be a professional basketball player. The rest of the world does it with soccer, and they do it with basketball.
Well, the geniuses that are done at MIT at age 16 are highly employed. They don't sit around for 6 years like sucking their thumb at mom's house. The government hires them as code breakers for $1 million a year. I mean, like, let's stop shitting ourselves. I mean, if you in every other industry, everywhere, and including sports around the world, if you can make a company money, they will pay you. They don't care how old you are.
God damn it. What's going on in this hockey game? They're down 3-1? You see that one? Playoff game number 2, Avs and St. Louis. St. Louis in a playoff game was plus 300. Colorado was minus 370. You know, I mentioned this for and I think that.
Are you all over the Blues?
Well, I bet the Blues tonight. I mean, it's a freaking playoff game. They're down 1-0. I'm not going to take plus 300 for a team that's won a Stanley Cup. Come on. Now they're down 3-1, so right now I'm losing and there's no value. But the Blues are on a major power play.
God, you're not smart. I was kidding.
It happens.
It does happen. I agree.
I may lose a bet here or there.
Why?
So I cut you off during your intense sneeze attack.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. I don't know what that was all about. Must be allergies or something.
So this is going to be the future, right? with these
Me
more and more
speaking?
people,
Yes.
more and more people backing, getting high level prospects money.
I think this is if the league works, and I usually first tries don't work, right? And you got to see what they made the mistake on and then come back to it. I think it, but if the league works, then yes, the NBA will have to say, okay, we're going in with academies. Right. And if you want to come play for us, let's go. And I think it's an inevitable future. I don't know how it couldn't be. I mean, at some point there will be lawsuits for it. Like the whole the concept of, well, the college, like nobody knows these high school guys, like, that was a problem. We didn't have yeah, you're right. Kobe never did overcome the fact that he never played pro ball.
College ball.
LeBron is, what would he have been if he could have put 3 years in college?
Right.
I mean, it's so farcical. I mean, yes, like all the highest paid athletes in the world, they never played college soccer, but they would have been even better if they had.
Disaster.
I mean, come on.
It's their system. They're making a shit ton of money on it. They don't want it to go away, so they're going to keep.
If Messi could have gone to North Carolina for 3 years, holy shit, what he would have made. The guy has 2 different multi-million-dollar, $8 million condos in Miami, a town he doesn't even live in. Two.
On your topic list the last couple of days, did you know anything about this? Supposedly it's going down tomorrow. I'll give the sponsor a pop because I think it means it's going to happen. But Bounty sponsored some 40-yard dash race, and I saw it this afternoon, and I'm like, okay, why can't I find this anywhere else? And then I see a promo. Supposedly, it's Henry Ruggs from the Raiders, Hardman, Chiefs, Jordan Jefferson, who was arguably the best rookie last year, monstrous wide receiver.
Justin Jefferson, isn't it?
Did I get it wrong? Yeah. And what I say, Jordan?
Yeah. And I'm terrible at names.
And then Devin White, who's not a small guy. They're having
Devin White. Like, which one of these things ain't like the other?
I know.
3 wideouts and a middle linebacker.
How happy will Raiders fans be when Ruggs runs like a 4.7 40 and Devin White clocks in with a 4.49?
It will be disappointing to say the least.
Come on. So is it happening or not? Had you heard about this?
I had not. I retweeted it when you sent me the link, and I was looking. I'm like, holy shit! They put a little promo together. Like, but when I think big time sporting events, I think Bounty.
Sure.
The quicker picker upper would, they're looking for the quicker player.
Being quick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They've got some fast guys involved. My assumption would be Ruggs or Hardman is where it's at. I don't remember. I would think that Jefferson would have gone higher had he clocked higher. There was a reason why he was the 4th wideout, even though he ended up having the biggest year. But I would think it comes down to Hardman or Ruggs. But I know Tyreek Hill has dusted Hardman, so you're not getting the NFL's fastest man out of this competition. That would be, I would assume, DK Metcalf versus Tyreek Hill.
Good. By the way, back to the basketball conversation. Very good old reference. My God. All right, there's been a few high school kids who probably could have used a few years of college. We get
it. Absolutely. But they didn't go through an academy system.
But if they had gone through an academy,
go straight to the highest level.
That would have been real interesting if Lenny Cook, in his case, had gotten away from bad influences and actually gotten to a place where he could just be away and be with basketball people and adults.
If at 13, 14, 15 years old, you could be identified, go into their U13 division and, still go to school, but you practice. Trust me. I mean, I watch these kids playing the club and the premier crap and all the AAU stuff, all the quantity of games and practices and times that's spent. How about if mom and dad didn't have to fly their ass all over the country, to play these games? Like it's still largely for the second tier kids, which will still end up being many of the pro players. It's a pay for play. The best teams, I know a guy, one of my buddies puts on AAU showcases. and he flips the bill for the top 1 or 2 teams to get a big national team in, everybody else is paying their own freight to get there. Like, why shouldn't the Lakers be paying for 16-year-old tournaments when they're the one that's going to benefit from their skills on down the road?
Right.
Like, I know everyone loves to throw around terms like communism and socialism and all this shit. Okay. Yeah, free labor for billion-dollar corporations.
Except for college, college sports, and like you said, free labor. Nice. None of the developmental costs go to the NBA.
None.
Yeah.
None. But we're good. But you know what? Let's make sure that we as taxpayers pay for all their buildings.
I'm expecting a no on this one. Same guy who did the Jordan documentary is doing Derek Jeter. 6-part series for Derek Jeter.
Is that what they're saying? Or are you asking me, will it be 6 parts?
6 parts. It's 6 parts. Are you in?
I mean, asking me if I'm in is a bad question because, I consider it homework. Is the average Joe in outside of New York? Outside of Yankee fandom? I don't think so. I don't think Jeter is he's not, you have not found the Michael Jordan of baseball. First of all, that guy doesn't exist. And by the way, well, we talked about it at the time, like how the end of episode 6 or 7 or whatever, when Jordan breaks down about like, if you don't want to play like that, that's the final scene. And I know that guy was told to basically rush it because, oh shit, we're in a pandemic, so we got to move this up. We need programming. There's a lot to like about that documentary. But I mean, I think a lot of what is the history of that documentary is we literally had nothing else to watch.
Right.
So Jeter up against live sports, no, it's not going to be nearly the event that the Jordan documentary was.
There's got to be something to it, though. If they're doing 6 parts, what is it going to be? All just all highlights?
Once somebody has some success, how they had the success is irrelevant to the collection of promoted sales reps that run all of broadcasting who have no concept of what quality programming is. So they will take a name that's had success in the past and just throw it on there. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Did you see the SNL skit on the Jordan rules?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
So
good.
Great.
And not for one
second
was I like, man, they're really dissing Jordan. I'm like, he's probably like that, man.
What's the name? Heidi Gardner. Big fan, KC gal. She played the security guy who was clearly a different kind of cat. If you saw it.
Just robbing the dude of everything he owned.
Yeah. And Heidi Gardner is a KC gal. Actually, much love. My daughter's high school. She went to my daughter's high school, where my daughter's going to start high school next year. What an absolute! I mean, she is one of the real talents on that show to play that guy.
So awesome.
I'll play it for your pants. Oh man, my guy, I really can't play at that level. Like that was brilliant.
Let's see. Jordan transcended sports around the world. Jeter only did that in New York. Brady says, will they discuss his baskets? I hope.
What is that? Do I have something?
He would give a gift basket to the women he
donated. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's the contracts that he made them sign, confidentiality deals. What I would hope, and unfortunately, if you're going to get this kind of access, you don't put the negative stuff in. I'd be interested if like anyone has anything bad to say about Derek Jeter. That would because the thing is after Jordan Rules or after the documentary, there were plenty of people who were like, wait a second, that was bullshit. Like some of the stories, that was too much. So there's certainly a healthy debate about Pippen and the way he acted, the way he was treated, and then Reinsdorf and Krause and what they did at the end. So
yeah, I don't think there is that part. Like, who's the protagonist?
I don't know.
Krause were the protagonists. Who is it with Jeter? They paid him like he was Mike Trout playing short.
Yeah. I mean, I got annoyed at Jeter at the end when they kind of paid him for his services and gave him like a final 3-year deal, and he was holding out. And it doesn't matter to the Yankees; they have the money, but he was declining, and they're giving him like $18 million a year. And I also, I like Jeter. I didn't love him. I also thought, it was kind of ridiculous that A-Rod was the better shortstop defensively, and Jeter could have easily moved to third base, but because of his ego, he wanted to protect that. And I also don't believe that it's tough with Alex Rodriguez. I'm a Alex Rodriguez stan, like just to a
Stan? What's it now?
Stan, like a big fan, a Stan from the Eminem song when Stan's crazy. Stan, he writes about Stan, and Stan's writing him, so they call it a Stan. It's the kids these days, man. Stan. Okay. So I love A-Rod, but A-Rod did a lot of it to himself. So Jeter didn't, it wasn't Jeter's responsibility to freaking save Alex Rodriguez.
Jeter's an ass, or I'm not. A-Rod's an ass,
pretty much. Except with J-Lo. She's clearly a pain in the ass.
I mean,
but who watches Curb? What was the Jets fan? Was it the Jets fan who killed himself? Who was a Jets fan who killed himself? Whose wife had the magical vagina? So that must be something with J-Lo, because Affleck is back. Can you believe this? Affleck's back again.
No, I can't. Dude. I would think if you're Ben Affleck, you have your pick, and you're like, I'm not going back there.
Right? I don't know.
Especially like, what was there? Like, did she even stop for coffee, leaving A-Rod's place to landing at Affleck's place? Like, could you at least change your drawers before you come by? Seriously.
Guys do it, Seren. Why can't a woman? Why can't she be empowered? She can do whatever she wants.
I mean, but the women who let guys do it are dumb, and a guy who lets a woman do it is dumb. Like, I'm ready for the rebound. Oh, well, sign me up. Okay.
It's a good line. Did Jeter quit and go play in the G League? No. Well,
no.
Carl. Yeah. Bobby Slayton is the comedian, Carl. And then Carl wound up killing himself. Typical Jets fan. We're always kind of teetering on that edge. And he was a Knicks fan. I'm not a Knicks fan. So if I were a Jets, Mets, and Knicks fan, there's no podcast on that. I'm dead. I wouldn't have made it here. It would have been all over. Let's not get gross, please. The family show, and Seren's got a reputation to protect here. We're not gonna.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There's no stank on anyone.
Nope.
No stank. Last one tonight, because I actually have a lot of yard work to do, believe it or not, at 10 o'clock at night, Vegas time.
You're really going to get out and get in the yard? You don't even have a yard. You have rocks, don't you, in Vegas?
Well, I'm having some work done, and I need to move a lot of stuff out of the backyard. I need to clear the backyard, and as a hoarder, I have a lot of stuff. So I have to go finish cleaning up in the pitch black, because the guys are coming to work on the yard at 6:30 in the morning. So I found that out kind of late, that it was going to be 6:30. So there's no time.
Good plan. Let me know how that works for you.
It'll be good. Exactly, Kirk. I know, Kirk. I get frustrated for you too, man. I love it. If Jeter had been a Brewer, ESPN wouldn't give an F about his story. You're right. You're right. I totally reckon.
100%.
The New York stuff is out of control. It really is. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. No party tonight. Couple weeks.
Damn. We have to figure out if we're having football out there.
I don't know, man. These airlines. Was that was a segue, I think. Are you going to be allowed on a flight for a decent price? And the question for me as well. You did see, I sent over a story. We talked about this briefly today on Cofield and Company locally. Airlines might start weighing customers to make sure that the plane is safe. Would you be down for that?
If they say you got to get weighed to get on the plane, I mean, I guess what are they going to do? Like, all right, we're 800 pounds over. You three fat asses, get up.
Says here, airlines may start weighing people at the gate amid fears. Aircraft are being overloaded by fat passengers. The lead says passengers could be weighed before they get on jets because Americans are getting fatter.
I don't think it'll happen because they're just trying to stuff more cargo on the planes to keep the prices down, and the mail and all the crap that they're doing. But I don't see it happening.
Would it be bad for business, especially if they weighed the women?
Yeah, I think it would be a problem. Even women that should have no shame about their weight. I know I need to lose 5 pounds, but stop with your 5 pounds. Yeah, I think it'd be a bad idea. But listen, it's such a inhumane experience to have to fly as it is, isn't it?
Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's uncomfortable, especially if you let yourself go a little bit. That's not pleasant. But even if you're skinny, it's uncomfortable. It's unpleasant.
Can we get an extender up here on row 17? I need a seatbelt extend. The seatbelt's not long enough. Can we get an extender over here in 17? Well, it's not even that. It's just the whole, the seats keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The less room in between rows, and there's no one to go, yeah, this would be a hard time getting out if there's a fire.
Oh,
Let's
of course.
put the seats where you have no room. It sucks. It's bullshit. But at least the government, funds half their profits for everybody to be treated like shit constantly.
Why do they get money ever?
Well,
they're essential.
Well, it's part of our socialist society.
Free market until it's tough times, and then you put your hand out. But we're only mad at the poor slobs who put their hand out, not the rich folks who put their hand out. Because and then like you said, the way we are treated by the airline industry when they're back and feeling robust, it's like wait, we bailed you out. Cut us a goddamn break. Why are you? Let's start adding some flights and let's get affordable options so people can move around the country. You pricks.
The comedic things that they make you do, like turning your phone off, all these things that really are bullshit, and it's just like the parking attendant, at a game who acts like he is the chief of police, and yelling at you about whatever, and a little bit of power goes a long way. Yeah, it's an awful experience to travel by plane. I like if you're like, oh, I had a great flight on this. Well, congratulations. The sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while.
When's the last time you went downtown in Vegas where they have the Heart Attack Grill and they've got a cattle scale out front?
Yeah, we were there one time.
And did we just sit there and watch people weigh themselves?
We did.
I did that about a month ago. Again, it's one of my favorite things. It's because it's unbelievable. People don't realize how fat they are. Especially women. Women walk on there, and I'm like, "You're going to push past 200 pounds. Like, what do you? Be careful." You get a couple going on there. Like, it's all fun. 480 pounds. Like, holy Christ! Just laughing. Let's do that at the airport.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll be great. I like it.
There we go. Make flying expensive. Yep. Again, Uncle Pecos. They're the Amtrak of the skies. JoJo actually backs you up on the evacuation stuff.
Oh, there's no way they could evacuate. No way. They've just gotten actually better in the mechanics, so we don't have as many plane crashes. And so it hasn't happened. We haven't had a horrible tragedy where it's they couldn't get off the plane.
This is a great promotion. Allegiant, being a Vegas airline and also, tied in with Allegiant Stadium, is actually trying to add a bunch of flights for all the football games. So I saw they're doing that for Chicago, and now they're doing it for KC. So come on to town, baby. Like I said last week, we need your money to pay for the stadium. We'll get you a 3-night stay, minimum $1,000. And that's at the Oyo, whatever it's called, old Hooters. You want to stay at the Bellagio? $1,500. Let's go. You love football?
How are the room rates? Are they jacking room rates up? Like if we do come in August, are the room rates up
for football weekends?
No, in August.
Oh, in August? No, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
I think I looked and I was like, no.
Oh, it's already crazy?
I think
I think they're for the football weekends for the Raiders home games. I think they are going to require a 2 or 3 night minimum.
well, I'm not coming out until it's been 2 or 3 years and you
Yep.
get done gouging people.
And then there's this.
I got, my buddy Arch. Oh, we gotta go. No, we don't.
No.
They're not moving in 2 years. Like it's fine.
And then there's the secondary market with the prices. What are you going to do?
Why is? Can I just?
No room.
Why is everything such a pain in the ass? There it is. Okay, we'll find out what it is. So, what do you think? What do you think going in August? We're talking about
Second or third week of August?
no, not second or third week. The week we
week?
usually go. Arrive here. Check out here.
What are you looking at? What hotel?
Mirage.
Oh, Mirage. That's right. You're not Bellagio. Mirage.
No, I'm not Bellagio material. You're absolutely right, Steve.
I didn't mean that. No, you just don't say it the Bellagio.
Average room rate 178 a night. Is that normal? I don't even remember. It's been so long. That's the low end. Do you want to see the pool, Steve? It's going to cost you $30 more. And by the way, we know there's that bullshit $40 a day resort fee on top of it. I'm not going.
Might be over 50 now.
That's just 39 here. I'm not paying $217 a night for a 30-year-old room.
I think if you look around, you might get a better rate. Jacobs was in here earlier. Dan Jacobs said he got Vidara for a good rate for the Dolphin game. Where's Vidara? It's in City Center.
But the 1-bedroom lanai is $2,300.
Want to treat yourself right or not?
No.
JVT is all about the Vegas economy, like me. Like, wanted football here. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm not coming till the prices come down.
Yeah, pent up demand. Everyone's all fired up.
Yeah. $218 a night. Is that what I usually paid? I can't remember.
It seems high. Even though I said
I do have a rating, because I'm a big player, Steve.
Yeah, for some reason I'm paying like $235 a night to go to San Diego in a couple of weeks.
Really?
I didn't do the booking on that one, so.
Wow. You know what? I will tell you, I'm going to Colorado.
Money is no object for some people in the house.
I'm going to Colorado, and we have a 3-bedroom condo that is less than the Mirage.
Nice.
Per night.
Seems like a better deal.
Yeah. I agree.
Except for what? What state is it in?
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Okay. I thought that was your Pensacola trip.
No, I have that where we roll back that a year. And it's actually Perdido Key. It's near the Pensacola airport. And what was a $340 round trip ticket was like they were wanting $1,080. So we will be driving.
It has not dropped.
I don't know. Yes, it has. They've added some flights or something, and you can connect and all this bullshit. But I'm like, I don't know. I hope to never fly again.
Is that the Siegel wife, Truth? I think I saw her on Below Deck. So the Siegel Group out here owns
bunch of timeshares.
Well, it's Westgate. It's Westgate. So, but yes, the Queen of Versailles he's still alive, right? The older Siegel. Yeah, she's quite a bit younger than the older Siegel, so they're close to billionaires. Very affable woman. Seren Griswold.
30. I am, dude. I'm there, man. You're 100% right. Like I'm just so frustrated by the whole experience that I'm like, oh, let's go see the world's third biggest ball of twine. We'll stop there on the way. Yeah.
I would road trip with Kirk.
I would road trip with Kirk 100%.
I don't want to go camping. I don't want to go like
camping,
The-
and I
the
don't want
weird-
to drive all the way to Vegas, but I'm happy to do I kind of want to move one of our fantasy leagues to like Lake Michigan.
Yeah, you talked about that before.
Yeah. I got a spot. We can get a house with a bunch of bedrooms. I think it'd be a good trip.
That's football or baseball?
Well, we'd have to do football because I don't want to be at Lake Michigan in April.
That's a good point.
I've also
Renee-
wanted to do Tahoe.
Renee's in. Do we want him in? That's really up to you. I like Renee.
I want Renee in. There are others I could eliminate.
Hmm.
Would you like a list?
I get a guess. No, it's not hard. You've mentioned them to me before, so I have a good idea.
Good times, you know?
Yeah, Kirk. I don't think we're going to New Zealand for the
No, that's not happening.
baseball draft.
Kirk was the one who told a friend of ours not to go to New Zealand.
Yep. And
What did he do? He booked a trip down there for 6 months. 6 weeks later, he was back home.
And all he did was talk about how much he hated it. Told you.
And literally I followed it up with the line. I mean, who knew? Well, you.
Yeah.
Because Kirk told you it sucks. They hate Americans there. And the weather blows. Don't think this is like the sunny beaches of Australia. The weather blows and they hate Americans. He was stunned. Stunned.
Let's close on a funny story. According to Tony, this was funny. Greeting card story.
Greeting card.
Oh, I forget what I talk about too.
Greeting
Don't
card.
worry.
Hang on.
Clues.
Give
Tony,
me some more. Tony, tell me more. I'm happy to tell you. Tell me greeting card story.
oh, Christmas card,
Oh, yeah. Okay. So,
holiday card. Curtis,
yeah, I got it now. I got it. Now.
holiday card. I just love
I'm
the-
there. Settle down. So right, the pandemic's been going. I went back in the studio a couple of weeks ago. It's been, I think I'm in my second week back in the studio. And so like I would go into the station every now and then, right? I'd have to go pick something up or go get some mail or whatever would be going on. And my wife, like just the other day, I gave Curtis and Jed was off Monday and I put in his mailbox an envelope. And in November, my wife she's like, my wife is, the best at the Christmas cards. Like usually the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, she has all the Christmas cards in the mailbox and they're all out, right? She spends November putting the Christmas card together and filling them all out. But this year we were a little late because, this is a pandemic. And so she's like putting them out like November, a little bit, maybe December 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. And so she's like, I think it was November. She had them, but she didn't. I don't know what was going on. Anyway, she gave them to me and said, here, you go into the office on a regular basis. Take this to Curtis and Jed. So it sat in my car in a place that you could kind of see, but not really see. And I had never dropped it off in all my trips to the office. And finally, the other day, I was getting out of the car and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to drop these off. And so I gave them their Christmas cards. And so
That's awesome.
So Jed sent me a text. He's like, hey, great picture of the family. Thanks for the card. Curtis just shit on me today.
Nice.
Like, you know what I got? I got a Christmas card. To which I want to say, like, oh yeah. I remember when I got your Christmas card. Never has come. So yeah. We're a little late on the Christmas cards this year with those two people.
So what? You gave it to him eventually. What'd they get you?
Got it, and neither one of them really gives a shit, right?
Right.
I mean, it's like if it were my mom, yeah, that's a mortal sin. Neither one of those guys care that they didn't get a Christmas card yet.
One of our listeners, Brady, sent over a story today. I forgot that he sent it. Apparently, there was a big FM morning guy, Maddie in the morning. I've never heard of him, but I guess he's gigantic in Boston. And, Demi Lovato came out today and said, she wants to go binary and all that stuff. So I guess he got pissed off because management told him to tone it down. I can play this for you. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, lay it on me.
They pulled the plug on me and they said, you cannot talk about what you're talking about again.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm out.
Yeah, they wasn't any good.
Well, the audio blows, so someone's got to get better on it. I should.
So what did he do?
Let's see. It says Siegel abruptly walked off his long-running morning show. Says management told him to tone down his commentary surrounding Demi Lovato. Reached by phone. Siegel said that he received a call from his boss telling him to stop talking about Lovato, who announced this morning that they are non-binary and are changing their pronouns. So Demi Lovato's a they and a there.
What does that mean? What is she saying? I don't even get it.
I'm out. No comment.
I don't even get it. What is the binary thing?
I don't talk about this stuff. Does not want to be identified by normal pronouns of he, she, or does
Okay.
not a male or female.
Okay.
He goes, I'm against her binary thing. I think she's a troubled woman. A lot of young people are taking her seriously, and it bothers me. But of course, it's a comedy show, so I did it in context of jokes. We're having fun with it. My boss called me up and said that I crossed the line, and they didn't want me talking about it anymore. I responded by saying, if I can't talk about what I'm thinking at this point in my career, I don't want to be on the radio anymore.
Well, he clearly has another job offer.
You think?
Of course.
He said he doesn't think it's permanent. There's no ill feeling between me and my boss, me and my company, none. They're doing their jobs. His heart was in the right place. All right. So
This guy, I see the one thing, he's been doing Boston radio for 40 years, and he actually lives in Florida now.
is that right?
He was either that's what Brady said.
From Florida. He's not in Florida.
He-
He's doing Boston radio from Florida. Oh, what a deal.
Yeah. So he's either was going to get fired anyway, his contract wasn't going to be renewed, or he's got a better offer. Be my guess. Or he's hit his number and he's ready to retire. Like, you make that statement when you're 31
Right.
and with a mortgage and college to pay for, okay. You've been doing radio for 40 years, you're at least 60. And if you're a big deal, you've made some money.
Right. We get it. I don't know if he's living in Del
No,
Boca.
I don't get it because I don't know anyone in modern music, but
Oh, Demi Lovato?
yeah, who is she?
I don't know that she's that
Or
modern.
they?
She's been a singer for a while. What is she, like late 20s? She's had a lot of issues. She had eating disorder, depression.
Okay, my kids explained that to me when we watched the Grammys one time. I know who she is now.
She was a host of X Factor. That was a show I liked. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Let her do what she wants. It doesn't
That's
affect
kind of my opinion as well. Whatever makes your boat float.
Someone asked
me or mine or somebody else. I don't care.
Yeah. Someone asked earlier if there are unwritten rules in radio. I don't know that there
Don't get fired.
like, are there violations that,
Don't crap on sponsors.
I mean, I guess, yeah, don't crap on sponsors. I mean, some of the other stuff that the building wants, like don't talk about sales or don't talk about the admin department or don't talk about stupid emails you get or terrible coworkers or lazy people. I mean, if those are unwritten, then I guess I violate those all the time.
Yeah.
I talked about we had a break room that was on the honor system, and they had an IOU sheet as well, right? So it was on the honor system, and you had an IOU sheet. And
Maybe like there was a vending machine that you.
No, it was just like a market there was no vending machine. It's just a market and grab whatever, and people would either just not pay, and like they had it open for like 6 months, and they were like $900 in the hole. So I freaking went off on because we got an email. No, they sent out an email to shame everybody and what everyone was owed. And so I started talking about what people on the sports staff are owed. And then like some on the admin side's like, we could get sued for that. I'm like, cut it out. And then we brought on Justin Watkins like 2 days later, Legal Insider. I'm like, am I going to get sued? He's like, no,
You're not getting sued.
you shouldn't talk about stuff like that on the air. Why? It's real life. We work with freaking schnooks who are robbing our convenience store. And then I got to hear about, we can't have an upgrade on equipment. Well, those are different budgets. Well, it's the thought, okay? $900 in the hole in our convenience store is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Clean. So if that's an unwritten rule, I violated it.
I'm proud of you, Steve. Way to take a stand. Way to finally be counted.
I get where I'm ready to
You're
finally.
a gutless coward your whole life, and now you're finally taking a stand about the egg sandwich.
Yeah. Now don't lick the microphone. That's an unwritten rule. I have no idea if Old Seed Williams owes $60. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Good times. Good
Yeah.
times. We can laugh about it now.
Yes. Oh, we had cameras too. Oh, that wasn't. No, they. That was the other thing because the violations were so strong. They paid for a camera system.
So put the last one down there. Like I have to figure out how does he know that?
Someone mentioned this last week. It might have been him. Someone mentioned Johnny Dare's old house last week too.
Yeah, Johnny's like the big FM guy here in town, kind of the Howard Stern of Kansas City. And I used to work in the same building with him, was a good friend, good guy. You know, I would say is a guy that I learned a lot from. And I did when he actually moved into a real house because he's a big success. I did move into his old rental. It was a disaster.
He's saying that Johnny said it.
Oh, he did? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's right. Well, yeah. I mean, I did. I moved. Yeah, it was great. I mean, the rent couldn't beat it. I think back in the day, it was like you were there. What was it, like 2 bedrooms down with like a loft up top?
There's a loft upstairs, yep.
Garage, you went down underneath into the basement. And the basement wasn't finished, but it had basement area for storage and like laundry. And it was right by where we used to work. And it was outstanding. And once I got in there, I was like, this is a train wreck. And I called the management company. I'm like, listen, nice try, but you got to clean some shit up around here.
Right.
And they gave me like a new fridge and all this. There were bullet holes in the walls from Johnny being there and everything. And, but like, I was looking for a new place. I was like, God, man, it sucks. He's like, dude, I'm getting ready to move. You should take my old place. I'm like, oh, location's
nice.
perfect. I'll be there.
Big star, fancy house.
Oh, dude, no, I mean, you were there. You came to that house, didn't you?
I know. Yeah. I slept upstairs. I think I may have mated with someone, probably the heaviest person I've ever mated with.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, she was big.
I don't want to hear that. And don't say a name, whatever you do.
I don't remember. I don't remember at all the name.
But yeah, it was a great house. I loved it. It was awesome. Yeah. Johnny's the man. Great guy. Nothing negative to say. But did set me up with this. Got it to where he's like called the management company, said, hey, this guy's moving in. He was paying like $300 a month and had been for like 10 years. Like the management company's like, once you went in, they never raised your rent. As long as you were there, you had a 1-year commitment, and then you stayed the same every month as long as you were there.
Yeah.
And I think I was like $700 a month. It's great setup. Loved it. Actually thought I might stay there the rest of my life till I met my future wife. And it was clear she was not going to live in the unpainted. The outside was
your place. Your place has since have been a little bit nicer. By the way, like no offense to the lady who was a little beefy. I'm sure she tells the story. She's like, yeah, I remember that house. It was like the ugliest guy I've ever been with, and what a freaking sack of crap he was.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know, man.
I gotta think. Wow.
It might have been someone random. Who knows? You know, I got that power on the road.
Yeah, but it was in my house, so I would think I would. I was somewhat around for the
I wasn't like pounding on the wall next door. It was upstairs in the loft. Miss Beefaroni. But like I said, I'm far from any friggin' prize, so I'm sure she said the same thing. Like, what did I just do? Fucking joke.
I love the guy. Like $700 a month. What was it last year? No, I mean it was a 3-bedroom house, like right down by the heart of everything in the town, with the garage and basement, and it's like a steal. Like what the hell's going on in Duluth? $50 for an 8-bedroom? What the hell? Like we ain't in LA, but I don't know what's going on in Duluth.
All right, we gotta wrap it. I'm getting myself in trouble, so enough's enough. My mom watches this. It's not good.
She's pissed.
Not good.
Not taking it anymore.
Yeah. You got any sponsors to thank? I forgot to put up the banner.
There you go.
Thanks to Meetup Vig. I lost focus from the get-go yelling at each other about La Russa. So, hey, by the way, thanks to Boyd Gaming for jumping on as our official home of hockey. I really do appreciate it. We haven't done stuff with Boyd in a while, so Ryan the hockey guys at the Salted Lime at Aliante tomorrow. I'm going to be out at the Orleans. I used to work at the Orleans in the sports book.
Yeah, I spent some time at the Orleans.
Dude, we were at Sam's Town the other day. I haven't been at Sam's Town in a while. I know you guys have Sam's Town there too, but you remember Sam's Town on Boulder Highway?
No, we had Sam's Town and went out of business. That's when
He
went out there and worked at Sam's Town.
All right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So we were at Sam's Town, and when I first moved to Vegas in '96, I lived right behind Sam's Town with your boy Ryan Williams.
That's right. I remember. And do you remember the Orleans? At one point, I may have been out there, and I may have been with someone who was like a total stiff, and I was like, I'm out. And at 12:30, I was like, hey, we're in Vegas. This is bullshit. Like shutting it down. And I'm like, I'm going out, and I headed over to the Orleans solo, and I called you. I'm like, I'm at the Orleans. If you want to come by, and you're like, I'm on my way.
I did come by. Good.
You did, yeah, 100%.
No, I believe me. I've become a lame ass now about going out late. But yeah, back then, anytime, anywhere.
Yep.
Especially, I love the Orleans when it first opened up. So yeah, so thanks to Boyd Gaming, they're great, and they're backing us for the playoffs. So that's cool. And I know, I'm sure you guys are starting to get business going, right, with the pandemic and things opening up. So that's really cool.
Yep. Starting to happen, man. Starting to make it happen.
Do it. All right. Wanted to make sure there was no
strong finish.
Sorry, stories from Cofield's Penthouse Forum. but they're all incredibly lame. They're just the terrestrial show tomorrow. We are at Silver Sevens. Every Thursday we're at Silver Sevens. So, by the way, this is a great promotion. I promise we're going to get out of here. For Vegas Golden Knights games, the beers are 77 cents. So that's a good reason to come down to Silver.
I would fly there if it wasn't such a bitch to get there. So
77 cents. It's awesome. I love Silver Sevens. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. We're back tomorrow. We're going to do the legal pod a little later, probably 9:30, to make sure the Golden Knights game is in. And we have a lot of good stories to get to.